J.K. Rowling is in the hot seat yet again for weighing in on transgender issues, this time in the context of rape and how some countries have decided to honor the gender identity of people who are transgendered. Now, she tweeted this: "War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. The penis individual who raped you is a woman." Okay, let's just put this aside for a second. I just want to note, rape is rape. I don't care if it's done by a man, a woman, a person who identifies as a man or a woman. The real issue here is the rape that has occurred. But she has decided to focus on the fact that some countries, again, have decided to honor the gender identity of individuals who might identify as something other than what they were born as. So, if you're born as a man but identify as a woman, there are situations in which the policies will respect that, like in Scotland, for instance. So the paranoia is in fact stemming from a recent law in Scotland, which allows trans people to self-identify as male or female in the Scottish census, even if it differs from their gender at birth. Now, police have been criticized for saying they will record rapes by offenders with male genitalia as being committed by a woman if the attacker identifies as a female, even if they have not legally changed their gender. So apparently this is what has gotten her very upset. And I don't get it. Like, it's the rape is the problem, right? I don't care about the perpetrator's gender identity. They should be prosecuted to the full extent, and that does happen. It's just that their gender identity is respected in Scotland in this scenario.
Is there an epidemic of this? Of trans people raping folks and then being, in their opinion, mislabeled? I don't know that there's a single case of it. So the police might have said, we're going to do this for all crimes. Probably the right wing, in this case J.K. Rowling as well, picks the one crime that seems in their minds most absurd, right? And says, aha, we got the cops. I literally don't know if there's been a single reported case of this in the UK. So why are you focusing on this nonstop? Why are you trying to find this needle in a haystack? And do the police then go, oh, we've labeled you as a woman, so you're free to go? No.
Right.
They arrest them and they try them and then they put them in prison for rape. So what difference does it make to you or anyone else what they're called? And so the right wing has lost their mind over this issue. And I think it's because they're in search of the other and they've run out of people to hate.
Of boogeymen?
Yes, and so go-to obviously for centuries here in UK and many other places in the world was black people. Okay, it's okay, don't worry about your own problems, just hate black people and it'll be okay, right? And then they're like, well, that became inconvenient, and it became gay people, and there was ballot measures all the way up to 2004 and beyond, 2008, etc. Hate gay people, hate gay people. And then that became uncool. By the way, one of the reasons it became uncool is because a lot of donors in the Republican Party turned out to be gay.
And
so
also,
then they were like, or their sons were gay or whatever.
Yeah, family members started coming out, and then all of a sudden, people who typically were anti-gay were confronted with a loved one who identified as gay. And that basically forced people to maybe think outside of their bigoted perspective a little bit.
Right, so then they're almost out of people to blame problems on, when in reality the problems are caused by the people at the top, not the people at the bottom, right? And so they're like, oh, we got it, transgender people. They're causing all of our problems. They went into the wrong bathroom. And they got classified in the wrong gender. That's what the problem is. It's the biggest problem in America, in the UK, and everywhere else. Oh my God, attack trans people. Rogan does it, Rowling does it. In my opinion, Maher does it, and on and on and on. And they get and of course Dave Chappelle did it, and they get the additional benefit of being able to say, I am so brave for attacking people that are the last others out there that we can all attack and pretend to be brave as we're attacking them. Congratulations, you're so freaking brave. By the way, then don't cry about being criticized. part of the reason you're doing this is the shtick about how courageous you are, right?
Yeah.
Then take the criticism and live with it. Man up, if you will.
Yeah, it's interesting because as you were making that argument, I was thinking about all of the other issues that literally lead to people dying that they don't obsess about, right? Or the corporate greed that leads to the insane mistreatment of workers, like to the point where they're defecating in bags and urinating in plastic bottles to ensure that they keep their productivity. Like that's not a problem. That's not something that they're obsessively tweeting about or talking about. This is the issue for some reason for J.K. Rowling, where she's just obsessed with it. And by the way, she's been referred to as a TERF, which is a trans exclusionary radical feminist. So apparently there's some portion of feminists who feel like transgender women are somehow like a threat or an insult to them. I don't get it. Like I live in this society too, and I see everything that's going on. And for this to be the issue that they obsess about is fascinating. Now, in regard to what Scotland's doing with the census, it actually makes a lot of sense, right? Because what's the whole point of the census? It's to figure out how resources should be allocated. And I think gender has a lot to do with that. So for instance, a statement from Vic Valentine, manager of the Scottish Trans Alliance, makes a great point. This means trans people can answer the sex question in a way that best reflects how we live our day-to-day lives. This provides the most useful information about trans people as we lawfully interact with public bodies, use services, and update our identity documents in this way.
Yeah, the substance of this is so clear. They believe their identity is a different gender. Well, look, our identity is based on whatever story we tell ourselves as human beings. The last story we did was Herschel Walker's son. He's black and gay, and he attacks black and gay people, right? Because he's told himself the story that his identity is a rich Republican, and that is more important. So should I go around and go, no, you're not a rich Republican, okay? I don't agree with your identity. It's not my business, okay? I disagree with his politics. I can criticize his politics and his policy points, such as they are, right? But what do I care what he thinks in his head, right? And so what his identity is. Why are you in anybody else's life? There are people who are born women who think they are men. Why would that be a threat to me? That doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't have anything to do with me.
Yeah.
You're going out of your way to create an issue that doesn't exist because you can't wait to pick on other people. Last thing, Rowling, you were such a giant star. You could have put a spotlight, as Anna said, on how corporations are crushing the average worker. You could have put a spotlight on 1,000 incredibly important issues of the day. Instead, you took all of your fame and turned it into hate. Congratulations, well played. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.